getting an invite over Anthony Stolarz. Decord, 57 games last year, which is a very high number, ended up with a 906 save percentage and 275 goals against. That's good. That's slightly above league average. The year before was also solid, 50 games, a 246 goals against and a 916 save percentage. Also pretty solid, above league average. That's actually quite good for an NHL goaltender. But you want to know what Anthony Stolarz' numbers look like in those 2 years? 34 games. He had a 214 goals against this season with a 926 save percentage. And the year before, 203 with a 925 save percentage. Yeah, so we're looking at the difference between both of their years this past season. And, okay, Decord played more games and was declared the starter, I suppose. But the actual statistics, analytics, and even goals saved above expected, you look at those type of numbers, Anthony Stolarz was a far better goaltender than Joey Decord was. Even shutouts. Anthony Stolarz had 4 shutouts in 34 games. Decord only had 2, and he played 57 games. So, yeah, to me, this is a big snub. And again, I it's not that I believe Stolarz would have made the team over the other 3 goalies who were there last year at the Four Nations, but if we're talking Stolarz or Decord, yeah, absolutely Stolarz should have been invited.
Yeah, like that's my, it's just like, if you're going to invite a goalie, like a 4th goalie, then like offer it to somebody who's has a better track record in terms of performance. I'm not talking even about experience or games played, because, again, situation different. Stolarz was a backup 2 years ago. This past year, he was playing in my opinion, the toughest division one of the toughest divisions in the NHL, and the guy put up fantastic numbers. The last 2 years he's been playing in the toughest division in the NHL, and he's put up incredible numbers.
And he was great in the playoffs also. So, like, then there's postseason success on top of that, right? Like, it's not just the regular season. He came in and finally got an opportunity to start games in the playoffs. He had a 901 save percentage, but a 219 goals against in 7 games. He was 4-2 was his record before he finally before he left the net here against the Florida Panthers, and the injury kind of popped in, and that was a problem. But yeah, he certainly is a guy who I would have believed in over Decord. But whatever, that's Bill Guerin's decision.
How did Joey Decord do in the playoffs this year? Can you remind me?
I would imagine he didn't play in the playoffs this year.
Oh, okay. So I guess he wasn't good enough to get his team into the playoffs.
Wow,
I know. Maybe that's a little tough, but I'm just saying, like,
I don't know if prime Carey Price could have carried that Seattle Kraken team into the playoffs, to be fair with you. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's a snub. It's a big snub. I can think of a couple goalies on the American side that I probably would have given a phone call to over Joey Decord. And to be fair, there could have been guys that declined, and Decord could have been like the 6th or 7th guy on the list. And they just said, all right, I want to bring a 4th goalie. And maybe Stolarz got the phone call, and maybe he didn't want to go. Maybe he's got a wedding that weekend or something. I don't know what the situation could be. But like Stolarz, Thatcher Demko is a guy who I figured would get more of a look than Joey Decord. Well, Dustin Wolf out in Calgary. That guy was amazing last year. Dustin Wolf's another player who I personally would have called up, and that's someone who you could think of as your goalie of the future, many years from now. So, yeah, that one was a bit perplexing. Stolarz getting left off the orientation camp roster over Joey Decord. But there's a couple more. There's a couple more camp snubs and some surprises as well. Why don't we take a break, come back, and talk a little bit more about that? That's next here on the Locked On Leafs podcast. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you the deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before Week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Is this the year the Buffalo Bills get it done? You can go make that wager on FanDuel. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morisuti with you. And Dave, we're taking a look at Team USA's Olympic orientation camp roster. And we know that they have invited two Maple Leafs, and Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. I do believe that Anthony Stolarz should have gotten the invite over Joey Daccord. You can consider him a snub if that's the case. Is there any other Maple Leafs that you could consider possibly a snub? Like Jake McCabe's an American. He was not invited. Would that be classified as a snub, or you think they made the right call there? He's not considered one of the top, I guess, 16 U.S. American defensemen.
I can get maybe Jake McCabe just because, like they're looking also for like high upside with some of the D-men that they have. Like, it's just a really good list. But like Ryan McDonough, solid defender, but like, is he better defensively than Jake McCabe?
I would say. I mean, is he still better than McCabe defensively? I suppose you could make
That's
that
my
question,
thing is just like
McDonough's been around for a while, and he's been a stud defensively.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like 5 years ago, we're not having this conversation because the guy was like, pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not making the argument that he was a snub. I'm just wondering if there's anyone else that could have been in the conversation, in your opinion.
I don't know really. Like, the Leafs have good American players on the team, but like other than like maybe no, like there's not really anybody else that I feel like, like if let's say Joseph Woll had a season like Dustin Wolf, I probably would have said Joseph Woll, but with the way the season ended and his injury stuff, like I feel like there's a conversation.
One goalie,
yeah.
But if you were going to take one of the Leaf goaltenders, it probably would have been Stolarz.
I probably would have done Stolarz as my first pick. Is that kind of crazy though that we're fighting about the 4th, 5th, 6th goalies on the Team USA, while Canada has guys that would have been 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th options on Team USA?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, we got Aiden Hill, got Jordan Binnington, and Samuel Montembeault. It took Anthony Stolarz over both Montembeault and Hill all day long. Absolutely. And he wasn't even an invite to U.S. camp. Just goes to show. It's like Dustin Hill or Dustin Wolf over both of those players as well, probably, to be honest with you. Any big surprises to you, though, that was invited to orientation camp? We'll get to some other snubs in a second. But when you were looking at the list, did anyone stick out to you as, oh, wow, really?
I felt like Connor Garland was a little surprising just because, he's a decent player for Vancouver. But like Brock Besser didn't get picked. Like he got